Welcome to another episode of You Know Ball, baby. Brought to you by the Run the Play Network. I'm your host, Anthony. To my right, I got Philly Phil in the building. Phil, how you doing, brother?
Bro, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
The more I hear about this, like, NBA Finals being over soon and, like, the fact that the offseason going to start a little earlier, I'm getting excited. And it don't mean that, even though the offseason starting, we got these rookies coming in.
Yeah.
With that. So
it's
the
coming
mix of that-
soon, dude.
What day is the draft again?
25th.
The 25th?
Yeah. I thought it'd be a lot more of a gap in between it. But it's coming soon.
I'm excited, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Make sure you guys stick around. This is where we eat. We love our draft content. We put out some of the best draft content on YouTube. So, yeah, we ball. Subscribe. Today we're going to be doing a mock draft of picks 1 through 14, the lottery. This is our first one yet. Last video we did on the draft, we did our rookie rankings for our top 10, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Top 10.
This week we're going to be doing a mock draft. Phil's going to be picking all the even picks, and I'm going to be picking all the odds picks. So I'll just kick it off right here.
All right.
We already know what I'm about to do. With the first overall pick, Anthony Arami and the Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg. I mean, it's the easy pick, bro. I think he's the only prospect in this draft that I would call a blue chip prospect. Like, he is in a tier of his own when it comes to this draft. So I think anything, like, if the Mavericks don't want to pick Cooper Flagg, they should trade this pick.
Okay.
You know, that's just what it is.
That's not bad at all. That's
Yeah.
not bad at all. Obviously, it's not bad at all. I mean, I'm talking like this is like a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for me to fuck
bro.
that one up, you know?
Like, what is your one favorite thing about Cooper Flagg?
I just think he has potential to be a star at any position. Like, as a scorer, as a playmaker, as a defender. He has everything ready for him, you know? So if any of those facets develop to that elite level that we know that they can be, like, Cooper Flagg right now is a good NBA player. He could develop into a great all-timer with everything coming in. So yeah,
I'm excited for him, man.
And I like the position in Dallas, too. I'm not going to lie. I think Dallas is a great spot for him.
Would you still start him over, or would you start him when he comes in?
I'm starting him when he comes in. I know we talked about that last week. I didn't love your thoughts on that, but I'm starting him right away. I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. You can't start a PJ over a Cooper Flagg, bro.
I just really like PJ, man. I love Cooper Flagg, but
Shit, I could tell.
I just feel like you gotta go with your chemistry. Like, you gotta stick with the chemistry first, and then once Cooper Flagg gets his legs and, like, understands the system, boom, start him.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. All right.
Where you rocking out, Phil?
Number 2, this is a San Antonio Spurs pick. I've been thinking about this one because, I mean, I feel like it's only down to 2 people. I mean, I keep hearing stuff about Kyle Maluach, but I don't know if they would do that. So, low-key, I'm going to say this. I am going to take VJ Edgecombe.
You're crazy.
I am going to take
still
VJ
think
Edgecombe.
you're crazy. For
I
that.
like Dylan Harper. I do. And I think he would be good with that system. But VJ is a two-way player. He can shoot from anywhere. He can score, in the mid-range. He can attack the basket, but he's also a very good defender. And I feel like now with the potential of them maybe getting Kevin Durant, and then think about it, you're going to have Kevin Durant, Victor Wembanyama, and De'Aaron Fox. I feel like that is a team that can compete, and I feel like VJ Edgecombe can go in there, and he will, no matter what, he will be able to help them with whatever they need. If they need defense, boom. If they need a three-point shooter in the corner that's going to space the floor for them, boom. If they're going to need somebody to slash, boom, he could do it. I just feel like that's really good. With Dylan Harper, I feel like he's going to need to be able to be in the system that he needs to be able to get some offense going.
I'm a little worried about De'Aaron Fox next season because he could walk after next season.
Oh, he can walk?
Yeah. So, I mean, if they have Stephon Castle, who they feel like is their point guard of the future, then VJ could be the right guy next to him. I think he fits better than Dylan Harper does. I think Jeremiah Fears is a good guard next to Stephon Castle too. But I think Dylan Harper just has too high of a ceiling to not take him there. You know, I love VJ, and I think Fox, KD, and Wemby is a good team, but I don't think that team's winning a championship, right? So you're not drafting for role players to put around your core that could win a championship. So that's why I would go with the more higher ceiling play. But, hey, on my rankings, I have VJ over Dylan Harper because I do think he's going to be able to contribute right away.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they get KD, that's the right pick, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I feel like it's going to happen because KD said himself he wants to be a Spur.
Hey, We're going to have to see, I guess. Philadelphia 76ers are up on the board. Now you're putting me in a weird spot because I feel like Dylan Harper can't drop past 3. Man. So there's some. I feel like when you think about this team and how they're going to draft, right? Mm-hmm. You think about how guard heavy they are with Maxey and McCain, but that's kind of it. Like they don't have any other guards around those guys. Mm-hmm. Their wing depth is kind of lacking too because you have Paul George, but he was kind of mid this season.
Yeah.
I feel like Ace Bailey's the play here. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go with Ace Bailey here. I think his ceiling is just so damn high, and you have a Joel Embiid, you have Tyrese Maxey, you have Jared McCain. I think you take the ceiling play here. Now, he's not my top player at this position at all, but as far as fit goes and position, I think Ace Bailey is the guy to pick here.
Yeah, I really like Ace Bailey on the Sixers. I just see that's the hard thing. We talked about this last week, if you guys want to check out that video. Like, if you pick him and he goes crazy, good on you. If you pick him and he goes bad, oof.
That's going to be bad, yeah.
There's a high chance of both. I think it's a 50-50 chance. But him being a small forward that can score and take those tough shots, I feel like that's what you kind of need in Philly. You need a potential star over there.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely need something for the post Embiid run. Mm-hmm. And if Ace Bailey does hit, then it gives you the opportunity to say, like, hey, we could trade away Embiid, which is something that I feel like they've been wanting to do. Mm-hmm. I got to take these headphones off, man. It always fucks me up.
No, you good.
And then having Paul George there to learn under, I think would be really good for Ace Bailey's development because I think he's a guy that's going to need he's going to need good vets.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with Ace Bailey at number 3.
Okay.
Now you're picking for Charlotte at number 4, but before you get into that, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Boom, Fantasy.
Man, okay, LeBron hit my parlay. Let's get it.
Oh shit, he hit it?
Yeah, bro. Look at this.
I won $200. I tailed your parlay.
How the heck did you win $200?
I used Boom Fantasy. I used their pick and spin, spun the wheel, got 10 times my money.
Bro, you gotta hook me up.
If you use code RTP, you could get a risk-free bet up to $100. Let's get back to the video. Just to recap really quick, Mavericks land Cooper Flag in our mock. Spurs land VJ Edgecombe, and the 76ers get Ace Bailey. Now at number 4, the Charlotte Hornets. Phil, who you taking?
Oh, man, this was a tough one. I was thinking about this because if I'm in Charlotte's position, this is a good spot because there's already a lot of young talent I can think about. Already the bigger names that were stressing me out are already gone. And instantly I'm thinking, gotta go Dylan Harper.
Yeah,
I gotta go Dylan Harper.
Can't go past 4.
Only reason I'm thinking that is because we're the Charlotte Hornets. We haven't really done anything in a while. I know we have LaMelo Ball, and that's our point guard, but he's been getting hurt a lot, and we haven't really been proven in the playoffs yet or haven't even been to the playoffs. So best thing you can do here, just keep getting that young talent and stacking up. Keep trying to, either make a dude that can lead your franchise or even just build him up where you could trade him for something big in the future if you were to build the right pieces, of role players around him.
Do you like the fit of those two together? Because I agree with the way our mock's going. Mm-hmm. You kind of have to take Dylan Harper here.
Yeah.
But do you think those two guys could work well together?
Dylan Harper and LaMelo Ball on the floor together?
Or do you think they got to move on?
I think that they could only if Dylan Harper is the sixth man that occasionally is, in with LaMelo Ball at certain points. Because what is LaMelo? He's 6'7"?
Yeah.
6'8"? And then Dylan Harper 6'5", 6'6". So I feel like that could work, especially if Dylan Harper were to play the shooting guard role, occasionally. But no matter what, if he's a sixth man and he gets a chance to run that system on his own, perfect.
I just don't think, and that's kind of, I think, where we disagree heavily.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
I don't get how you could draft a guy like Dylan Harper or Cooper Flag at that high of a stock and have them come off your bench. Who in history has done that recently? Well, the guys last year are not the guys this year, imagine they drafted Wemby and they had him come off the bench. Or, maybe not Wemby. Wemby's a high tier. But guys in the similar tier to, Dylan Harper and Cooper Flag as prospects. I feel like if you draft a guy like that, LaMelo Ball, I feel like was in this type of tier of prospect. They didn't bench LaMelo Ball, or Ja Morant or guys like that. I just don't see how you bench him. Even the Ja Morant situation, when they drafted him, they traded Mike Conley.
Yeah.
So that they could start Ja Morant because you just don't draft a guy that high and then not start him.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, especially, and I'm not going to say, you bringing up Victor Wembanyama was bad at all because I mean, it's a good thing. I said I would have Cooper Flag come off the bench as a sixth man to start it off, but I think that with Victor Wembanyama, he was the clear best like center, and he's also a center that came into the San Antonio Spurs system, and they just had to start him. With Cooper Flag, I'm just seeing like with Cooper Flag and Dylan Harper, I'm seeing that he's a forward going to a spot that already has some pretty good forwards, and I'm thinking if I'm Jason Kidd, I want to keep these first 5 or 6 games running that chemistry, having Cooper Flag get used to it, and then maybe if he's just doing so good as our bench player, we bump him up to starter. But and same with Dylan Harper. But I feel like as a point guard coming in, there's already too many established point guards that run a system and have what's the word? Stabilized themselves or epitomized themselves as the franchise player, that it takes more work to get to that point.
See, and I agree with that, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we've seen guys like Luka and Trae Young come in and start at that point guard position. I would even look at a guy like Stephon Castle, who, although he didn't start all year last season, he started a lot of those games, majority of the games for the Spurs, and he wasn't supposed to be that guy, but he was like, you just, if you're going to play Stephon Castle, or I think they ended up benching Vassell at a certain point last season, like, you're going to play the guy who's 21, 22, 18, 19, 20. That's kind of my point I'm trying to bring up. Like, if I'm the Hornets GM, I think Josh Green's a better fit next to LaMelo, but I'm not going to draft Dylan Harper and say, like, oh, Josh Green's still going to start. Because Josh Green just isn't. Like, I would rather let Dylan Harper fully develop than win 35 games next season, you know?
I thought they were, because I was thinking maybe they were just going to, Brandon Miller does play the 3.
This is, the lineup for the Hornets that I project next season without any rookie added there would be Melo, Josh Green, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Mark Williams. Or you could slide Trey Mann instead of Josh Green. But I think they like Trey Mann coming off the bench. So that's the thing where it's just like, I don't think they have a guy startable over Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing for Cooper Flag because I like PJ Washington, but Cooper Flag has like all-star potential, you know? PJ Washington never had that. But with that being said, I'll move over to number 5.
No problem. And well put, too.
Thank you. At number 5, the Utah Jazz. This is a guy that I love in this draft. I don't think would start right away. I think this is where we finally get into that tier of guys, and that's Derek Queen. If I was the Utah Jazz, I think I'd take Derek Queen because Walker Kessler's about to be up for a contract in a year or two. I believe, and I think that when he is up, all these trade rumors around him tell me that he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
Wherever, even if it's in Utah or if it's somewhere else, he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
So I think I would take Derek Queen, who I think has a higher ceiling. I like Keontae George as a playmaker, but other than that, they don't really have anyone that makes plays, and Derek Queen can do that at the center position, also being a dominant big. And then playing with guys like Laurie, who can knock down shots, Sexton, Clarkson, Keontae George, hopefully, if he develops there, I think could be nice. And I think he could also play the 4 next to Walker Kessler. Now, I'm not a huge fan of him at the 4. I feel like I've seen a lot of draft pros kind of talk about that, him playing the 4. But I think Walker Kessler would want to be one of the few guys that I think he would fit pretty well next to.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I like that you did that.
Yeah.
I low-key thought you were going to choose Trey Johnson for a sec, but it makes sense for them to get Derek Queen because that's what I was going to talk about. I put Derek Queen higher.
Okay.
I put Derek Queen higher only because I do see the star potential more than Trey Johnson's fit on a team because I feel like Trey Johnson can fit on any team and benefit very well. But Derek Queen, he can fit because he's a center, but he's also he looks like he can be an all-star. He looks like in the future he could be a dude averaging like 16, 9, and maybe even 3, or maybe even like 29 and 3, and then maybe 1 or 2 blocks a game.
Yeah.
I could see that in his future.
I do too, and I think playing next to a Walker Kessler makes up for his problems defensively. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Offensively, he's going to be the juggernaut, and defensively, Kessler could be that. But, yeah, I think he would come off the bench to start the season, especially because last season they kind of figured it out, starting Laurie, Collins, and Kessler all together.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What you got at number 6? This is This is a very weird
This is
pick.
where I was kind of like, oof, because I like the Wizards. I like their young core. I like Sir Carrington. I like Keyshawn George. I love Alexander Sarr there. But now I'm thinking, what do you want to add there? Because obviously, without a doubt, I could add the next best like prospect there. But do I want to put another role there? No, I don't. So I think you go with another star. You go with the best person who is the next best available player. And I think to me, I want to double up on centers, and I want to get Kamen Malawatch right here.
Okay.
I want to do it. I do understand that Alexander Sarr is a defensive player also, but I think that him at the 4 is really good. I think he plays so well at the 4 that if you add a rim protector who can maybe he has floor spacing potential next to that with Keyshawn George and Sir Carrington, I think you're fine. I think you're fine, especially with Kamen Malawatch there. Okay. And I feel like in the future too, you could easily get some guards and better people in the future.
Kamen Malawatch is a guy I feel like we're not aligned on. I feel like that's a guy we look at very differently.
Yeah.
But I do think Washington really is similar to Derek Queen, where Washington kind of will eliminate those problems that I have with him with the rebounding. And I think Alex Sarr can make up for that. And we might have talked about that last week, honestly.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be a crazy defensive front court. And Alex Sarr is more, I feel like, stronger as far as muscle goes than Kamen Malawatch, and Malawatch has that length, so they kind of that's nasty. I'm not gonna lie. So you just hope AJ Johnson, Bub Carrington, or
Keyshawn George.
I always mix them up, man. But hopefully one of those guys develop into that offensive player that could lead your team, and then you have one of the best young defensive front courts of the future.
Exactly.
I'm not mad at that whatsoever from a Wizards fan.
I like that.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I'm not gonna lie. At number 7, the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, this is another team that I feel like is tough.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think after next season, they're in a much better spot than what they are now. Once CJ McCollum walks, now you have DeJounte Murray, Zion, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones.
Yeah. That's
a solid core. You know, you don't have to deal with Brandon Ingram playing minutes and stuff like that anymore. Yeah. So I do have options here. I think Carter Bryant could be a good, like, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones type of clone almost. Con Knuppel obviously could be like, you just throw him in there. You know, he's going to be able to help a team win. And if they're trying to be competitive this year, then I think that's the pick. Yeah. But for me, I think if I'm looking post CJ McCollum, I would draft Jeremiah Fears. I think Jeremiah Fears would be the perfect fit next to DeJounte Murray, and hopefully he could develop that jump shot and become a real closer for this team. I think Trey Johnson would be another guy that would be in a similar range. I just don't love Trey Johnson's defensive potential. And I think Jeremiah Fears is the most, like, creative scorer in this class.
Yeah.
And I think a team like New Orleans has Zion, who's just going to back you down. Trey Murphy and Herb Jones are going to knock down their shots. DeJounte Murray's like a traditional point guard. He'll give you a bucket, go to the rim, downhill. But they kind of need that, like, spark, you know, something creative. And I think Jeremiah Fears provides that for you.
Yeah.
So I think if he got to New Orleans at 7, I don't think they would be able to pass him up.
Yeah, I like that. They already have Yves Missy. They have a center they can build around or help them easily build around because they're obviously building around Zion Williamson. But I think that on the forward and center spot, they're okay. So getting a guard that is probably one of the fastest players in this draft on that team with these guys, and also he can create and he can get the ball to the open man, that's perfect. I think if you have him coming up, well, would you have him come off the bench? Or
I'd have him come off the bench this season.
Yeah.
And then after that, once CJ's gone, hopefully he develops into a starter.
Yeah.
If not, he could still come off your bench, and you could start DeJounte, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion, or you could move on from Herb Jones, who's going to get a big extension, I think, next offseason.
Oh, yeah.
So either it gives you the option, though, to say, like, hey, we have a guy that we want to pay, or that's cheaper that we want to play more. So I think he gives them some options there, for sure.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
And this is where I get screwed up.
The Nets. I have a pick for Brooklyn that I like. That's only one guy.
Oh, man. Well, because obviously I'm thinking Trey Johnson and Carter Bryant, but I kind of feel like since all this stuff is going on with either they pay Day'Ron Sharpe or they trade Nick Claxton, I wonder if they should take a big here. And I'm feeling kind of like Thomas Sorber is that guy, but I really, really, really like Carter Bryant.
So you're going to go Carter Bryant here?
You know what? I am going to take, as the Brooklyn Nets manager, for our future, I am taking Carter Bryant.
Okay.
I am taking Carter Bryant. I feel like he is explosive enough, and also I love his defense, that he could be a good, because he's 6'8" too. He's almost 6'9". I think he would be a good forward and maybe even sometimes a small ball four for us in the future, that it would be good for our guards like D'Lo, Cam Thomas, and what's the guy's name? Keon Johnson. And then if we still keep either Day'Ron Sharpe or Nick Claxton, he would fit so perfectly well right there with them.
I think the Nets, for me, I would disagree with this pick. Because if I'm the Nets, I'm taking a swing.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy that either is going to hit or miss. So I think like Trey Johnson you take here, and he's just like Cam Thomas. But like hopefully he could be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or if it were me, I think I would take Noah Sengu here, where you're just like, hey, if he's good, we have a fucking guy. We got Giannis, you know? And if he's bad, like, on to the next year, hopefully. We get the number 1 pick and don't get fucking screwed.
I'm having a weird vibe with Noah Sengu. I'm not going to lie.
Why?
I feel like he is a good. I love his height. I love the weight he has. I just feel like maybe it's just his offense that I'm questioning. Maybe it's just his offense. Defensively, I love him. I love his length and everything, but offensively, I'm just iffy on him.
He is an if guy. Like, if it all works out, he's going to be nasty. But there's a world where he's bad, you know, realistically.
You're like, yeah, it's 50-50.
It's 50-50, so that's why if I were them, I'd take it and just say fuck it. But also, like, I think D'Lo is a free agent.
Yeah.
Cam Thomas is a free agent. Zaire Williams is a free agent. Melton's a free agent. Day'Ron Sharpe's a free agent. So really, I think no position's locked down here either. So like, if you were to say like Thomas Sorber's the guy, like go ahead. I think that might be bad because they have Claxton, and he seems like their best player. You know, as weird as that is. And that's kind of the thing with the Sengu too. Is like if you take a guy like that, like he can't really shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And now he's playing next to Claxton, and it's like it's a little ugly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at that pick at all either. I think Carter Bryant, to me, has like. There's like an energy to him, where he could be something special.
Exactly.
You know, and I would bet on that. And I think I like him for a lot of these teams who need role players. Because at bare minimum, he's gonna be a spark plug role player.
Yeah.
And ceiling wise, bro, like I see a lot in him too because he's so young. So I'm not mad at the Nets taking him because taking an 18-year-old, bro, that's a ceiling play for sure.
I low-key would love to see him fall to 14 for the Spurs. Carter Bryant.
Yeah.
I would love to see him go there.
I don't know if he'd make it there, but I think that would be sick. Or even Atlanta, like to play next to Trae Young.
That too. I feel like
cool.
if he were to start dropping past the 11, the Bulls or the Hawks would definitely take him.
Yeah, I also like him in Portland too.
Portland would be really nice.
I'm surprised Trey Johnson's fallen this far, but that's a guy I don't really love. I don't know how you feel about him.
I was watching a little bit more tape, and I just feel like he is a good player. I like the way he plays, but I feel like there are players that are better than him.
Okay.
Like, I feel like if you are taking him, it's because of the role that he plays.
Yeah, you just kind of hope he can be that guy in the NBA. You know, it's kind of risky, which is crazy because post March Madness, he was pretty much unanimously a top 4 pick.
Oh yeah,
but his stock has definitely tanked for sure. At number 9, the Raptors.
This one's a fun one.
They're weird, bro, because like we talked about last season, like they locked everyone down, but everyone's so mid, you know. So it's like they really like can do anything here. You could prepare for like life after Jakob Poeltl if you want. I don't really know what to do with this pick. I'm trading this shit. I'm not gonna lie. Nah,
Trading it for KD.
For Trady, I guess that wouldn't be bad. I'm not gonna lie. Let me go. Let's have fun here. Let's have some fun here, and I'm going to take with this pick. Oh, that's your list.
Hey, remember,
my
you're the
list.
GM. Fans looking at you.
They're looking at me, bro. I can't take a Sengu here because he just doesn't fit. I think Khan is a safe play for this team, but I'm gonna go with Rasheer Fleming. I think,
Top 10 Rasheer.
yeah, I think Rasheer Fleming just fits here the most. He's bigger. He could play next to Scotty Barnes. Rasheer Fleming, this is my player comp to him, and I like this one a lot. He reminds me of Golden State Harrison Barnes, where he'll play defense, he'll stand in that corner, but he's, as far as off-ball creation goes, he's more of a cutter. He's more of a slasher. He'll shoot threes. I don't think his clip is enough to be like he's going to be a 40% shooter in the NBA or nothing like that, because he wasn't taking a lot in college. But I like Rasheer Fleming, and I think his frame and his build screams Toronto Raptor and screams next to Scotty Barnes. So I'll take him at number 9.
Thank you for taking them high, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've been trying to tell people. Everybody's been looking at me like I'm nuts. I like that for him. I like that. To me, Rasheer Fleming is a... I saw him as a smaller Nas Reed.
Okay.
I saw him as a smaller Nas Reed. Like, he gives me Nas Reed, Jaren Jackson Jr. vibes for some reason. Defensively, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Okay.
Shooting-wise, I look at him as Nas Reed. Because his movement reminds me of Nas Reed, if that makes sense.
I just feel like he can't really create. And I think that's my knock with him, and that's why I like him in Toronto, because he doesn't have to create.
Yeah.
But yeah, defensively, this guy's going to be a problem next to Scotty Barnes. So I think this would be a cool ass pick for them.
Man, if they really do pick him up, I'm going to be excited. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they get a guard. I wouldn't be surprised.
I just think quickly, Grady Dick, RJ Barrett.
And then, no, they don't have Davion Mitchell no more. What was the name? Oshai Abaji?
Yeah, your boy, former
Yeah.
Laker.
Bro, they still mad at me for that. But yeah, that
Jamal
was a good
Shedd.
pick. Jamal Shedd. Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
They just Jacoby Walter was a guy they picked early last year.
Oh yeah, they're probably good on guards. Never mind.
They're good on everything though. You know, I seen this earlier. I forgot they have Colin Castleton. That shit threw me off when I saw that. But yeah,
Number
they're
one center.
Colin Castleton. They're good kind of everywhere. That wing position though, it's kind of like RJ Barrett, Jamison Battle, like Baji. Like I don't really know what you're confident with there. So I guess Rasheer Fleming could play the 2 through 4.
Oh yeah.
So
Wait, 2 through 4?
I think he could play the 2. I don't think he's like
Rasheer Fleming
it's not slow.
at the 2.
This is 6'9",
Like the shooting
stand in
guard?
the corner. Harrison Barnes did it.
I don't
You
know.
know?
I feel like he's too big for the 2.
He's big in size, but he could like be there. I'm not saying he's an elite 2 or nothing.
I'm
like that.
not. I know. I understand that.
But
I'm
you
just-
can't run you're telling me you can't run a lineup where IQ's the 1, Scotty and Pirtle are on the court, so that's the 4 and the 5, and you could play, I guess, RJ Barrett at the 3 technically. Just have, I guess Fleming would be the 3 there technically, but he would just stand in the corner like a shooting guard.
Yeah, I would say he's like a 3-4.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's bad that you say he's a 2. I'm just like trying to see because he's not the strongest dribbler, but I could see him just being. In the
Yeah, I
corner
wouldn't
and
want him
having
to
the-
handle the rock.
Oh,
Or anything
yeah.
like that. If RJ Barrett's on the court with him, RJ Barrett's the like secondary guy.
Yeah.
You know, Scotty Barnes even.
Yeah.
and I think that gives him the. He doesn't have his weaknesses there. You know, because there's so many guys that could handle the rock.
Yeah, so it's not bad. I'm just like I feel like he's just more of a 3-4, and then most of the times 5, or some of the.
I
times
don't see
5.
him as a 5. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he could be an NBA 5.
I can see him being a 5.
Me personally, I don't think he's big enough. 6'9". I'd rather him stand in the corner.
You think about it, Dwight Howard was 6'9".
Dwight Howard was different though. He ain't no Dwight Howard.
Hey, you never know.
I know.
We need another Dwight Howard, bro. I'm be for real.
We got
need
Yves Messi.
a skinny Dwight Howard. I like that though. All right, did you want to add anything?
I'm good.
I don't want to interrupt if you cooking.
You're good.
All right. At number 10, Houston Rockets, and they acquired this from Brooklyn. Phoenix. Well, Phoenix to Brooklyn to them.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm salty of this pick because I like this pick.
Bro, I like this pick, but this is good and bad. Because then, obviously, KD's gone. No matter what, KD is not coming back there, so now you have free reign to either get a guard, a forward, even the center. This should be easy, actually.
I mean, that's all the positions.
Yeah, this should be easy. So what's the next best player here? You know what? Let me go Thomas Sorber here.
Oh, I don't love that pick, Phil.
Let me go Thomas Sorber to the Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix Rockets.
Houston. Oh my gosh, I was thinking about Phoenix.
No,
I was
no,
thinking about Phoenix.
take
My
the
bad.
pick back. Take the
My
pick
fault.
back.
My fault. My fault. This is the Houston Rockets pick.
I thought you were saying like they're not getting KD. Like
My bad.
they're
My
not
bad.
Gonna get
The
him.
Houston Rockets pick. They have Fred VanVleet. They have Jalen Green. They have forwards all around. Besides, I think the only thing you strengthen here, you don't strengthen centers because you have Alperen Sengun and Steven Adams. You don't touch that. I think you go for. I think you go guard here. I think you go guard here.
I'm curious what you do, Philly.
I'm
Not gonna
wondering.
lie. I'm curious how Sorber would fit there now that you said that, though.
I was thinking about that, but
He would just be Steven Adams' replacement, bro.
that is true. But you know what? Here, you know what? I'm gonna pick up this guy because he hasn't been picked up yet. Let me get Trey Johnson here.
I don't love that pick, Phil.
Trey Johnson.
I think point guard would have been the move for sure. I think, for me, Fred VanVleet has a $44 million team option this offseason, right? And they probably opt into that. But I would opt out. And then I would sign either like a Chris Paul, a Schroeder, who else do I have on
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart, Elfrid Payton, one of those guys to be like kind of that safe point guard. And then I would draft a Jace Richardson or a Mark Sears here because I think they could develop into that starter and fit next to these guys. For me, Trey Johnson, it's just like if you draft Trey Johnson, you definitely should trade Jalen Green because you're kind of telling Jalen Green like, hey, fuck you, you know? So I think I would go point guard personally.
Yeah.
But Trey Johnson is best available.
Yeah.
So that's fair too. But I think the route I would go is to opt out of FEV and then sign one of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking Trey Johnson or Walter Clayton Jr.
You got him that high?
Low key, if I really want a guard, I think you just go for Walter Clayton Jr. I like Jace Richardson, but Walter Clayton Jr. is really good.
Yeah, but Walter Clayton Jr. is like 25.
23. Let's chill out. 23. I'm just playing. But I just think if you need that guard, he's that guy.
The reason I wouldn't is because Sears and Jace are, I think, more playmakers. And every time Fred VanVleet went down, they would start Amen Thompson at the one or stuff like that. And that was like fun. But they needed that true playmaking kind of thing to be in that elite tier. And when they had that, they were there. They were one of the top teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take another bucket of a guard, you know, to put next to them, if that were me. But at 11, you had anything else you wanted to say?
Nah.
Where does Trey fit here?
I think Trey is a good, because obviously they're going to try to make a run at the playoff. They're going to try to get out the first round, obviously, again. I think they're going to be top 4, maybe even top 5 next year. So I think he would be a good 6 or 7 man for him. I think he would be. Like, if one of their guards, if they want to make it where they want to go big and put Jalen Green at the stinking 1 and just have a whole all-scoring lineup or something, just have Trey Johnson come in, make problems, be a little bit more faster, have Amen Thompson create. And then if you're saying the Fred VanVleet thing goes on, maybe he leaves, or maybe he just gets traded. I don't know. I just see them getting another guard outside of, like, draft. And I feel like Trey Johnson, you just can't pass up on him.
If they could find a guard that does what Fred VanVleet does outside of the draft, then I would definitely, like a good one, not like the ones I said, I would definitely draft Trey Johnson. I'm curious, though, how much they think of Reed Shepherd when they make this pick.
That too.
Because that is curious. Like, are they done with him? Did they give up on him already? Or are they going to not draft a guard because they want to see what Reed Shepherd could be?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't do that if I were them because I don't really love Reed Shepherd that much. But I know a lot of people were super high on Reed Shepherd going into last year's draft. Or 2 years. Was Reed Shepherd last year?
Yeah, he was last year.
Last year's yeah, so I didn't love him, but a lot of people did, so I'm curious what Houston does. Like if they're like, we need to keep Reed Shepherd or
I think he's a good guard. I think he is.
I think it's cool. I think I would put him in the corner. I didn't love like the people were gassing up his athleticism and playmaking and stuff, and I didn't see none of that. I just thought he was a good 3-point shooter. which is where I thought Dalton Connect was a better creator than Reed Shepard was in college.
Let's go.
So-
Dalton Connect love.
Exactly. At number 11, the Portland Trailblazers. They're in a weird spot too. I think they need a glue guy because I feel like their core still isn't really developed, figured out yet. Like, we know, who do we think is going to be a part of this team's future?
Without a doubt, I think it's going to be Donovan Clingan.
I think that's the only one I would say without
Jenny
a doubt.
Avia. I think Jenny Avia will still be there. And then I would say Scoot Henderson.
I love Scoot to
I would say
death,
Scoot.
but if they traded Scoot, I would not be in
Surprised?
shock. If they traded Klingon, I think I would be. I'd be like, that's interesting because he was such high capital and he hasn't gotten burned yet. Scoot to me was very up and down last season. You know, I defended him all year, and I still love Scoot to death, and I think Scoot's gonna have an amazing NBA career. But I think Klingon is the only one where I'm like, they're gonna lock him down.
Yeah.
Like, if they were to, let's say hypothetically, right, all these guys went into free agency, I think the only one they would throw a max at would be Klingon.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
maybe not a max, but he would get the most money out of those guys.
yeah.
I think Denny's a little older, so if they wanted to trade for a young piece, Denny would be probably the one to go. Shaden obviously has had an interesting career. Kamar is a guy that I could see them locking down too.
They should.
I think they should too. And then, so they just need a guy to fit in between the gaps of Scoot, Kamar, Denny, Shaden, Klingon. And I think I would go with Concanapple here. Just play it safe.
that.
Get a guy that'll knock down some shots for you. There's been a lot of hype lately I'm seeing online of him going in the top 5, which I would not be surprised if he did. But I also just think there's a lot of good guys in this draft. You know, a lot of high ceilings. Concanapple has the highest floor, but his ceiling isn't, I don't even think good. You know, like, he's going to be a good NBA player, but he's not going to be no all-star or nothing like that. So I think if you take a guy here in Portland, and Portland's needed a guy like this for so long,
Yeah.
that'll just play their role and knock down shots. You know,
And he's a really good shooter.
they couldn't even get Damian Lillard guys like this. So, like, you might as well take him here.
Imagine Damian Lillard with this team, man.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool for sure.
I think they would low-key be competing right now. Not in the finals, but, like, to the Western Conference Finals. With
They
this
would be a
team.
decent team. They would be able to make some noise.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't know. Damian Lillard gets hurt every playoffs, bro. He might not be the guy for them. At number 12, you got the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, man. All
This
right.
is a hard one, too. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie. Especially because who's off the board? Malawach,
Derek Queen.
Derek Queen.
I think you just got to go with Thomas Sorber here.
Yeah.
I think you just got to go with that because after that, I don't know, because you have Nikola Vucevic leaving, and the next best center after that is Jalen Smith, and I love Jalen Smith. I think he's a pretty good center, but he's not, the guy. He's not the center, but I see more of the center with Thomas Sorber than Jalen Smith.
What college you go to? Jalen Smith.
Jalen Smith went to, literally you asked me this before. No, he was on
Did
a
I?
quiz. Wait, because he played for the Phoenix Suns. Then he went to the Indiana Pacers. But
what happened before that?
yes, that's what I'm. He went to. It's not Marquette.
No, but
It's
same first 3 letters.
Mars something. What? Mars something. Wait.
A top 5 player in this draft that we've picked goes to the school currently.
That we picked?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Cooper Flag, VJ Edgecombe, Baylor? No, he didn't go to Baylor. Then after that, Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper went to Rutgers. After that, Derek Queen. Maryland?
He went to Maryland.
He went to Maryland?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me double check. But I believe
What?
so. Jalen Smith.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure he went to Maryland. Yeah, Maryland.
No way.
Yes, sir.
What is with Maryland and getting all these centers, man?
Yeah, I like Thomas Sorber here. I'm not as high on Thomas Sorber, but I think with the guard creation you have there, I think they could definitely make him into something special, especially as a defensive guy for a team that doesn't have a lot of great defenders.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely interesting for sure. Interesting pick here. This is a guy that I see a lot of hype for on Twitter. And as a prospect, I'm not too in love with. I think you may have him.
Pretty high.
Higher than me. Yeah. Colin Murray Boyles. I think if they end up paying Kobe White over Josh Giddey, then Colin Murray Boyles, this is a perfect spot for him. But if they rock out with Josh Giddey, then it's a different conversation. Because I don't think Colin Murray Boyles fits next to Josh Giddey. But next to Kobe White, it might be nasty.
I like Colin Murray Boyles over in Atlanta. Yeah. I do. Like, because he's pretty athletic and he's very defensive. And I feel like you need a guy like that with the future you're building. Well, a weird report came out saying they're trying to trade Trae Young. And I was like, why?
I don't believe. I think.
That's got to be fake.
No, the report was that Sacramento wanted
Trae Young. You feel like that's fake?
I mean, they might want him, but I doubt they'll give him up, you know?
Like, because I like what they have. I like Dyson Daniels and Trae Young as a backcourt.
Yeah.
And then I like Jalen Johnson. Whatever you do with your centers, whether it's Big O or Clint Capella that's gone, I like one of those two being there. So if you have a Colin Murray Boyles who can definitely play the 3 and the 4, definitely not the 5. If you put that in between, like if you even have him at the 3 with Jalen Johnson and Big O, then you have Dyson Daniels and Trae Young there. He can literally just go out there and just do his thing.
We should have traded picks for 10 and 13 then. So you could have picked this Hawks pick. I'm definitely not going to pick Colin Murray Boyles here. I'm not going to lie.
I pick him there.
I agree, though. I think with Dyson, like that defensive potential is kind of insane. But as far as what I'm going to do with Atlanta, I want another player that kind of fits what they're doing. Con Canepa was a guy that like would fit that. Rasheer Fleming was a guy that would fit that. But for me, I'm going to go with... Ooh, I just thought of another name, actually.
Oh, you weren't picking Colin Murray Boyles?
No, I'm not picking him.
Oh, my bad.
I'm not picking him. I
thought that was his pick.
I was saying the Bulls could have been an interesting pick.
Oh, okay.
I think picking Kaspersky or Igor here would be interesting, too, as a backup guard. Because they don't really have that.
Yeah.
And then, where's his name? Cedric Howard was the name I would definitely play with here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call audible on my notes. And with this pick, I'm going to take Nick Clifford in Atlanta. I think what they lack...
That's even better.
What they lack is a guy that could like put the ball in the basket other than Trae Young. And Jalen Johnson could do that next to Trae Young too. But Nick Clifford, if you give him the ball, he's going to get you a bucket. And I think that would be sick. Trae Johnson would be sick here too. But just giving some more production to let Trae Young rest a little bit. If they don't want to go the opposite route, I think Cedric Howard's the move and just have him stand in that corner. Cedric Howard to me is like very similar to Rasheer Fleming, just a little bit older. Yeah, so I would go with Nick Clifford here.
I like that. I like Nick Clifford right there, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he's talented enough to be in this lottery-like spot. I know a lot of people were saying, like, he's definitely going to be low, probably, like, late first because of his age, but he's way too good to go that low, bro.
Dude, I think he could get drafted and average, like, 12 to 16 points in the NBA today.
Yeah.
Because that's how pure of a bucket he is. So I think just that level of scoring deserves a spot there.
Oh, 1,000%.
Close us out, San Antonio.
Whoo! So I got VJ with the San Antonio Spurs. I believe he is definitely going to be a good piece for us for the future. And I also have Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox. So I like my guards, but I still feel like there is a chance to grab somebody here that is still good. Like Kaspersky Yakachonis, really good guard. He can shoot the heck out of the ball. He can definitely space it and play make. His defense is definitely shaky. I don't think he has any of that, though. But that shouldn't be a big problem because San Antonio, they develop defensive players. It doesn't matter. But there's one guy that I really do think would be really good here. Like one guy. Well, there's actually 3. Holy crap. I'm on the clock. I know. I got my time. This is the last pick. I got to be real chill about this, guys. I got to be real chill. Asa Newell. Is that how you say his name? He's really...
Yeah, something like that.
He's another good player in this, but I don't know. I kind of want to take a swing on this one. Kind of do.
Go a little riskier? You did take VJ. He's like the safest player in the draft.
That is true. You know what, low-key, kind of feel like I should go with this guy. Kind of feel like it. Because, this is a pressure seat right here. Do you trade the pick? No.
KD,
no.
Get your ass over here.
Nah, these guys are way too good for that. They're way too good. So, you know what? I'm gonna have fun with this. I am going to put another center here. I'm gonna go with Danny Wolf.
Whoa.
I'm gonna take Danny Wolf here.
That's a lot of centers going in the lottery. That would be sick. That would be interesting.
I just really like Danny Wolf. Like when I was watching his tape, like I just love the fact that he could create his own shot. He's 7 foot. He reminds me a little bit of Domantas Sabonis, but he's way more of the scoring type. But he can definitely like find the open man, and he can definitely play make a little bit too. But the fact that he's a 7-footer, and I was like going crazy when they had a chance of getting Donovan Clingan at 8, but they didn't because, the Trailblazers saved us from that. I feel like Danny Wolf next to Victor Wembanyama would be nuts.
Yeah.
Especially because both of those guys can switch. Like, if Victor Wembanyama wants to play the 4 and guard another guy, he can, and Danny Wolf can play the 5. But if Danny Wolf needs to play the 4, he can do it.
The length of that lineup would be insane.
Exactly.
Especially if they move on from Fox, and then you have Castle, who's a good defender, VJ, who's a great defender, Danny Wolf, who's a good defender, but his size makes him a great defender, and Wemby, who's obviously Wemby. Having those 4 guys out there, along with like Sohan, like that's a very tough 5 to score on. That's like an OKC defense level 5.
And then imagine this. They get Kevin Durant, and they play him at the 3.
That's lengthy.
That's a
defensively.
6'11" forward, a 7'5" forward. 7'5" center playing the 4, and then a Danny Wolf maybe playing the center.
Yeah, that would be scary hours for sure.
That is nuts.
Who's the highest ranked player on your list that didn't get drafted in the lottery?
I would say that my highest ranked player would probably be, I think it's Colin Murray Boyles.
Really? Where do you have him ranked at?
Right now, I was going to switch him up a little. Oh, no. It's Asa Newell.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, bro, watching his tape more today, because he was a guy I liked early.
Yeah.
But I rewatched a lot of him today. He's going to be like Kenneth Faried. Like modern Kenneth Faried. Like be able to move without the ball and be that. He's like a glue guy, but like not a shooter. Like he just kind of is a connector, which I like him a lot.
He is a lefty. You never know.
Yeah, he could turn it up for sure.
But that's crazy. You guys, like, because doesn't OKC is a 15 pick.
Yeah.
So according to this draft, you guys have a chance to draft Asa Newell, Kasparis Yakuchonis, Jace Richardson, or Colin Murray Boyles, and even Igor Demon.
Yeah.
I call him Demon.
I would probably take Cedric Howard if I were OKC.
Cedric Howard too.
You go 3-D. That's the OKC way.
I would say if Nick Clifford is there, you guys should take him.
That'd be sick.
Because I like Nick Clifford.
That'd be sick.
But also if Danny Wolf's there, you guys should take him.
That'd be cool too. I like Asa too. Noah Sengu was my highest ranked guy.
That too.
That wasn't picked. I wouldn't take him from OKC just because I love him in Brooklyn, bro. I just think Brooklyn, like, as far as like high risk, high reward, you take that swing. OKC doesn't need to take that swing. There's a lot of teams that need to take that swing. And I think that's why he could jump in this draft for sure. Don't be surprised if that man's top 5. I'm just saying. Someone's going to Noah Sengu. Someone's going to talk themselves into his potential.
We'll see.
We'll see. You guys let us know at home who had the best pick, who had the worst pick. Let's run through it one more time.
Got you.
Let's hear it, Phil. You got it.
All right, number 1, Cooper Flagg, Dallas Mavericks.
Made by me.
Or Dallas Mavericks pick, Cooper Flagg. Number 2, San Antonio Spurs select VJ Edgecombe. Number 3, the Charlotte Hornets? No.
Philly.
The Philadelphia 76ers select Ace Bailey. Number 4, the Charlotte Hornets select Dylan Harper. Number 5, the Utah Jazz select Derek Queen. Number 6, the Washington Wizards select Kamen Maluach. Number 7, the New Orleans Pelicans select Jeremiah Fears. At number 8, the Brooklyn Nets select Carter Bryant. At number 9, the Toronto Raptors select Rasheer Fleming. At number 10, the Houston Rockets select Trey Johnson. Number 11, the Portland Trailblazers select Con Canopel. At number 12, the Chicago Bulls select Thomas Sorber. At number 13, the Atlanta Hawks select Nick Clifford. And number 14, to finish it off, the San Antonio Spurs select Danny Wolf.
That's a good draft.
Bro.
I like the Danny Wolf pick too because I don't know how much of, like, he has realistic lottery potential, but he is the type of player to like, what the fuck? Why was he picked ninth? You know, like a team takes a fly on him.
Exactly.
So I do like that pick a lot. I thought that's a really good pick, and he's a guy that I watched a lot during the season. I haven't like, I don't have him on my list because I haven't like done my tape work, but I do like him a lot as a prospect, and I think that's a good pick. What's your favorite pick that I made, and what's your least favorite pick I made?
Oh, dang. I don't want to do this to you. Cooper Flag. I'm just kidding. I'm playing. My favorite pick that you made was probably I'm going to say Rasheer Fleming. I think Rasheer Fleming, number 9 to Toronto Raptors, is the safest bet because you named off all the guards. And I like them. I like Jamal Shead. I like, what was the other guy's name? I like Jacoby Walters. I love the guards they already have. So then still building on the forwards. Well, he's a forward/center, which is how I have him listed as. So putting him in that system, I think it's going to be seamless. Okay. I think it's going to be seamless, and he has a chance to be a star there too with Scotty Barnes. The one that I least liked you picking, probably maybe Jeremiah Fears.
Okay.
Jeremiah Fears, number 7, the New Orleans Pelicans, only because I want to see him somewhere else. But I think that he might go just no, because he's 18 years old. He has to go higher. But I just feel like New Orleans Pelicans could probably go for something else there.
Something safer.
Something safer.
Go a different direction.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But it's not that bad.
For you, I think my favorite pick, low key, the Carter Bryant pick is growing on me a lot. You know, I kind of shit on it because I want a Sengu there. But I do want, like, he's a guy that I think, because he's so young, could have an insane ceiling. And I think going to Brooklyn, like, you get to show that off.
Yeah.
And then least favorite would be VJ for me, just because if Dylan's there, you take Dylan. But you guys let us know at home. Favorite, least favorite. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, but most importantly, run the play field. Let them know what else they need to do.
Yes, sir. Make sure to add us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure to hit that bell as well and add the Discord link down below.
Yeah.
I'm your man, Phil. This Ant-Man straight out the MCU. We out, and let's bounce.
Bounce, baby. Boom.